Hello everyone, Coach Carol here with another essential habit for family historians. Do you dabble in writing family history stories? I've got the perfect tool for you. It's called Dabblewriter. I've been using Dabblewriter now for a couple of years to do my writing online. It's a piece of software that is in the cloud that allows you to write, plot, plan, and export your stories. You could write a whole novel there. You could break it into chapters. Today, I'm going to take you through the steps that I take to create and plot my family stories in Dabblewriter. I'll share my screen with you now. When you first go to dabblewriter.com, you'll see this wonderful image. And it tells you right off the bat that Dabble is an easy-to-use online writing tool. And I agree with that statement. They compare it to Scrivener, which is another piece of software that you can use for similar tasks. I've logged into my Dabblewriter and I'm looking at my recent projects. I've set it for a dark theme at the moment, so it's looking a bit dark. You can have a dark or a light theme behind your writing. You can create projects with the plus button here, and immediately it knows that you want to start a new novel. They're using the word novel, but we could just relate that to a collection of stories about your ancestors. So when you do that, you click plus and you give your manuscript a name. And then you can begin to plot the story with book scenes, story notes, and even characters if you are writing fiction. And sometimes your family history story can include a little fiction, or is that faction? Let's go back to the recent projects and you'll see what I have put in place. So I'm working on that one. That's brand new. But let's go to one that I've already started. The cutting line is a branch of my ancestry. And here I've begun to plot out the lives of my ancestors in the cutting line. And this manuscript is all about mainly the businessmen and women in that particular clan. When you look at the manuscript, which I'm clicking on the left-hand navigation bar, it shows the plotting beginning to take shape. So I have 6, maybe 7, 8 chapters so far. And I'm beginning here with my mother, her father, her grandmother, her grandfather, and so on. And I'm still researching to find the missing great-great-great-grandmother. So I know roughly what I'm doing with these stories, and I'm building them piece by piece because, as you may already know, I'm involved with the 52 Ancestors 52 Weeks Challenge in 2021. In each of these, there is a little note card, and you can begin to write in the storyline, if you like, for this particular ancestor. And you can add as much information as you want in here. And in this story, I'm talking about my grandmother and how she gave birth to twins and triplets in her lifetime. For my great-grandfather, he earned the freedom of the city. So that is the story that I want to produce. In fact, I have produced that one for Charles Harry Cutting. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm plotting my story chapters, and each one is related to one ancestor. We now look at chapter 1 for my mum. This is where I gather all my story writing together. You can add photos if you want. That's a beautiful picture of my mum, probably aged 18. And what Dabblewriter does for you is it helps with your writing. You might be able to see here it's a faint green underline for the words time and mum, and it's reminding me to put a comma after the word time. So all I do is click on the correction and take the comma off that one. It does other things for you, such as removing commas and language check. Of course, this would be the American spelling for pajamas, but I'll leave it as pyjamas at the moment. And let's see what else we have here. More commas required. So let's look for something a little more interesting. Here's something with the blue. This usually means that I'm using passive verbs. That seems to be a habit of mine in my writing. This is what I like about Dabblewriter. It reminds me that I'm using passive verbs that make my writing less direct. So I can correct that by doing something like cutting out the who was, and that fixes that problem. Some words it won't know, so you can add it to the dictionary just like you do in Word. And more punctuation and so on. So it's a great little tool for helping with your writing and your plotting. One more thing to show you today is over here on the right-hand column, and these are my goals and stats for the writing so far. My goal for today was to write over 600 words, and I've just taken 2 away. I've got a bit more to write. I set my goals through the goal settings here. And you can choose a date by when you wish to do the number of words, and you choose the number of words. So in this book, Cutting Line, I've set the goal for 25,000 words by the end of February. Bit of a stretch. We'll see how we go with that one. That's about 600-700 words a day, or 5,000 words a week. Not sure if that's correct. My mathematics not strong. So I use Dabblewriter to help me with that. And I've set my goals. If I want to, I can be a little easier on myself and make it 20,000. And then should allow me to save that. Can't see the save for the moment. It's underneath for some reason. Probably because I'm sharing in StreamYard. So it won't have changed, I don't think. Oh, yes, it has. Now, my progress is 22% of my goal. Things in Dabblewriter you'll get used to as you use it. They use the word manuscript to describe this whole novel that you're writing, and you can create your chapters below it. When you want new chapters, they call that book actions. Click into the 3 dots and add a new chapter. And the new chapter is ready for you at the bottom. That's all for now. Get started by going to www.dabblewriter.com and sign up for a free trial. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a great way to plot and write your family history stories. This was another essential habit for family historians, and I'll be back with a few more to round out my challenges for January 2021. Thank you so much for listening. Come back again for more essential habits for family historians.